welcome to another week of Kids Church at Home. I'm so glad that you are here with me this week to explore another story and get creative. Our special shout out this week goes to Abigail and Ben and Nikki. Thank you so much for your encouragement and your participation and for taking this time to explore about faith and life together with me. So our theme this week is based on a story about Jesus. There's lots of stories about Jesus healing people, but this is a special story about healing because Jesus does a different kind of healing with this person. So come along on a ride with me as I tell you this story. So the story takes place a long time ago. And as we know, Jesus traveled around where he ministered to people on the road. And as he would travel, lots of people would gather because they heard that Jesus was able to heal. And so they would gather around him, hoping that he would have the time to see them and to heal their problems. Well, one day, as there were lots of people gathered, there was a person in the crowd who was making lots of noise and seemed to be really angry. I wonder, have you ever known anybody who struggles with their behavior sometimes, or sometimes acts out of anger for no apparent reason? Well, then maybe you can imagine what this might have been like. This person didn't have control over their behavior or their anger, but they were expressing it and it made people uncomfortable. And people would turn away and they would try and ignore the person and they would try and get rid of that person. That person didn't belong because their behavior made the people around uncomfortable and they didn't want to deal with it. Well, Jesus stopped. Jesus noticed in the story. And Jesus went to that person and took the time to sit and to talk and to listen and to be present and to touch and to be there. And that presence, Jesus's presence with that person, that attention, that compassion, it allowed that behavior to disappear momentarily, to escape from that person so that person could think clearly and behave calmly and be present with Jesus in that moment. And so it's believed that that attention, that love that Jesus gave that person in that moment healed that anger and those feelings and those behaviors. I wonder, you've met somebody, I'm sure, who sometimes behaves confusingly or acts angry for no reason or just doesn't know how to interact with people around them, and maybe they don't know how to make friends and communicate properly. How do the people around you and around that person act when that happens? What do we learn from the story about what God wants us to do with that? Sometimes reaching out and acting like Jesus can be really uncomfortable. I wonder how Jesus's friends felt when he took the time to go and sit with the person who made so many others feel uncomfortable. Well, we are called to be those people, to set aside what makes us uncomfortable and to reach out and touch and love and be present for those who need us, even those who make us and others feel uncomfortable. So that's your challenge this week. Notice the people around you who are ignored, who are left alone because they don't act the way other people do. And how might you be able to reach out with a smile, an encouraging word, a moment of time? That's how we become God's hands. So our craft today, I'm very excited because it's winter and it's gray and I'm missing the color of flowers and of growth. And so today we're going to make some special flowers so that we can have some color at home. And even though we might not be able to grow real flowers yet, we can create a bouquet of color to remind us that spring will come in a few weeks. So we're going to make these flowers, but they're special because they hold a reminder in them as well. These flowers are made in the shape of a hand. If you had a chance to pick up our supply kit that's in our blue box at church, then all these supplies are in that kit, and you will need to just add some tape or some glue into that. But if you weren't able to get a supply kit, that's okay. All we need is some colored paper, some pipe cleaners, and I have an added pom-pom that I put in there. That's optional, we don't need the pom-pom, but I thought it looked fun. And there's a little bit of ribbon too, so we can tie our bouquet together at the end. So are you ready to make some flowers with me? Let's add a little bit of color to our life with these. Here we go. So we're gonna start our project with a piece of colored paper. And you might need some help to do this, or maybe you are coordinated enough to do it yourself. I'm going to take my hand. I'm going to lay it down on the diagonal on this piece of paper so I can fit my hand in. And if the bottom of my hand goes off the paper a little bit, that's okay. What I need are my fingers on this piece of paper. And now I'm going to trace around my hand. Just like so. There we go. So I have my hand traced here, and now I'm going to cut out that hand. There we go. Now that I have the first one down, I'm going to repeat the process for the rest of my pieces of paper. I have 3 more because I'm going to have a bouquet of 5. And you can either do this by tracing your hand again, or you can trace around the first one that you did and do it that way. So I'm just going to copy the first one I did, and I'm going to cut around that to make all of my hand shapes. Okay, here we go. I have all 4 of my shapes ready. Now I'm going to grab my pipe cleaners, and I'm going to choose which pipe cleaner will go with which flower. I think we'll do like that. There we go, like those. Now it's time to grab some tape, and I'm going to tape my pipe cleaner onto the middle of my hand just to hold it in place for a little bit, because otherwise it gets really hard, it slips around. So I'm just going to tack that in place for all 5 or all 4 of my flowers. I'm making 4 right now to add to the one that's already finished. And Toby's finding this very interesting because his favorite toy in the world are these pom-poms, and he's waiting for me to throw one. Pitch has already stolen a couple of them. There we go. So I have all of those done. My pipe cleaners are tacked into place. My hands are done. And believe it or not, we're almost done. Now the next step is to take one of our hands, and we're going to carefully roll the side of the thumb to the side of the pinky finger to make a cone at the bottom around that pipe cleaner. So there's the cone. You can see it comes to a nice point, and then I'm going to grab some tape, and I'm going to tape that in place to hold that cone shape. There we go. Now we need to open up those petals. So Just pinching the piece of paper between my thumb and my finger, I can curl it around a little bit on my thumb, and that will curl the petals. There we go, we've opened up the petals. And now you'll see in the middle, there's my pipe cleaner. And if I gently push up on that pipe cleaner, it will come up the middle of the flower. And then I can grab it. There we go. And I can give that a little bit of a turn so that it kind of looks like a little piece of the flower inside the flower that comes up like that. There we go. So we have a little curled stem inside. We have our petals. And then I added a little pom-pom into the middle. There we go. Just to give it a little pop of color inside. And that is my first flower all done. So I'm going to do that to the rest of the other 3, and then I'll show you how to put them together to create your bouquet. So here we are. I have my 5 flowers that are all finished, and now I want to create a bouquet with them. So I'm going to straighten out those stems, and I'm going to put these together. 3, and maybe you can layer them at different lengths. There we go. How about that? Just like all different lengths and different heights. Then I'm going to grab some ribbon, maybe if Toby will let me have the ribbon. There we go. And I'm going to wrap that around the stems 2 or 3 times to hold the stems together nice and tight. And then we'll tie a bow. There we are, and there's my bouquet. My bouquet of spring flowers made like hands. Look how colorful and joyful and fun that is. I'm so excited that I can put these in the window in my room and have that pop of color when I wake up to remind me that spring is coming, but also to remind me that I am the hand of God in this world, just like you are the hand of God in the world. Where will you put your flowers to bring that smile to your face and that joy to your family? I'd love to see what you create and how you share that beauty with those who are around you. Well, my friends, we are the hands of God, and sometimes that can make us feel very uncomfortable. But out of our uncomfortableness, we can bring compassion and love to somebody who really, really needs it, who needs to be seen and reminded that they are God's child as well, just as we are. So let's go out into the world and be those hands that can bring comfort and joy and peace and friendship. Most of all, friendship to those who struggle to make friends. Let's bless each other into the week ahead. May you have love in your heart to give, and may you have joy in your heart to share, and may you have strength in your heart to lift others up. See you later. Bye, my friends.